honestly should ever cheer for when a player gets injured. These players have families and people that count on them to support them. So it's not right for people, honestly, to be happy when somebody gets injured. Because how would you like if you tore your ACL or broke your arm or leg or did anything and somebody cheered that? You wouldn't like that either. So I'm just saying it's not right. We all know they signed up for this. It's a tough sport. It's not easy. It's a very brutal sport. But we should not ever cheer when these players get hurt. That's just me. That's just how I feel. It's my opinion. Anyway, getting back to this game at hand, Vikings beat the Lions 27-9. Big victory right there. New York Jets at home, up by 15 points in the fourth quarter against the Green Bay Packers. The Packers, team that hasn't won a road game in over a calendar year. Well, of course, they give up those points and then some, including the game with about a minute 13 regulation, the 1-yard rushing touchdown by Aaron Rodgers. The attempted 2-point conversion pass was intercepted by Darrell Roberts on the Jets defense. He's called for defensive holding. So of course, the 2-point is attempted again. This time, Rodgers gets it. 38-35. Darnold is able to lead a game-tying field goal drive, 38-all, overtime. Packers win the coin toss. Big play, 3rd and 10 from the Packers' 40. Rodgers throws a pass to Marquise Scantling, hung in the air, fell incomplete. You would think the Jets were going to get the ball on the punt. Unfortunately, Tremaine Johnson called for pass interference. Few plays later, Buster Skrine called for pass interference. At the Jets' 6, Aaron Rodgers then goes for the game-winning touchdown run, called back for a holding call. That's on Brian Bulaga. So 16 yards out. Aaron Rodgers throws the game-winning touchdown to Devontae Adams. Packers beat the Jets 44-38, another game which the Jets, with less than 5 minutes to go, cannot maintain a lead. Heartbreaking considering Darnold had 341 yards on the day and threw 3 touchdowns to 3 different players, including Elijah McGuire, who had a great performance, getting a rushing and passing touchdown, receiving touchdown. But the Jets lost 44-38, and it's the first time in over a calendar year that the Packers won. In fact, if they lost this game, it would have been the first time for the Packers since 1958 to go an entire year without a road victory. Texans, Eagles. This was the game of the day. So let's set it up for you. Let's take it later in the game. It's 16-all at this point. Falls at the line of scrimmage, decides to change the play up. Fires a deep pass to Nelson Aguilar in stride, going down all the way to the left side of the field. Stops at the 1, turns back, falls into the end zone, back first, like he's going to a pile of snow, making snow angels. It's 23-16. Then, eventually, later on, it's 29-16 on a 23-yard pass from Nick Foles to Zach Ertz, which, by the way, Ertz is now the record holder for most receptions by a tight end in a single season, 113. That's 3 more than what Jason Witten did in 2012 for the Dallas Cowboys. Congratulations on that. Not the end of the game, though. Deshaun Watson decides, that's it. That's not it. He throws a 14-yard pass to DeAndre Hopkins, 29-23. Then eventually, 3rd and 11. Then eventually, it's 29-23. Then it's 3 and out for the Eagles. They get the ball back. Anyway, 3rd and 11. He escapes 22 yards. Jordan Atkins gets the first down to Philadelphia 34. 3rd and 11. Hits Smith deep in the end zone, both feet in bounds. 30-29 Texans. Foles leads the game-winning drive. Jake Elliott, 35-yard field goal. That's it. They win in overtime. The Giants played the Colts, led the game. It's 27-21. Colts are going down the field. Several bad penalties called on the Giants, eventually giving the Colts the ball at the Giants' 1-yard line. With just seconds to go, Andrew Luck gets the ball, throws it to the left side to Chester Rogers, goes in for 1 yard, and gets the go-ahead touchdown. And then Eli Manning throws a game-ending interception. Luck and the Colts beat the Giants 28-27. Jaguars-Dolphins, very boring. It's 10-7. Blake Bortles comes in. Well, actually, it's 7-all. It's 7-all. Blake Bortles comes in to replace Cody Kessler, who can withstand the pass rush of the Dolphins. Gets them to a field goal for a 10-7 lead in the fourth quarter. Then Telvin Smith on the ensuing Dolphins drive, picks off Ryan Tannehill for 33 yards. Dolphins lose to the Jaguars 17-7. Chiefs Seahawks. The Seahawks, of course, beat the Chiefs 38-31, including a great 116-yard, 2 rushing touchdown performance by Chris Carson. Drew Brees leading the Saints to a big victory over the Steelers, including a 2-yard go-ahead touchdown to Michael Thomas with 1:25 left, coupled with the 3 turnovers by the Steelers, including the fake punt on 4th and 4 that didn't work out, and the game-ending fumble by Juju Smith-Schuster. Steelers lose to the Saints 31-28. And then the Washington Redskins on Saturday afternoon football go into Tennessee, 4th different quarterback in the last 5 weeks. This time, Josh Johnson signed off the street to start against Marcus Mariota, but Marcus Mariota, unfortunately, has a stinger of an injury, which he had earlier in the year. So we get Blaine Gabbert coming in, leads the team to a 2-yard touchdown pass with about 4:30 to go. And the Titans beat the Redskins 25-16, thus eliminating the Redskins from playoff contention and keeping the Titans in contention on the AFC side of things. That was week 16 in the National Football League. Now, let's start with the final week of the regular season, week 17, in the neighborhood for the last time. The New York Jets going to New England. What's on the line? Patriots, victory, first-round bye, number 2 seed. Possibility of home field with a victory coupled with a Chargers and Chiefs tie. All possible, but they have a better chance in number 2 seed than the number 1 seed. Anywhoser, in this particular game right here, honestly, the Jets are going to lose this game. Why? I'm thinking the Patriots' pass rush is going to come on strong and make up for any deficiencies that Brady may have in this game. Statistically, it's not his best season. He's had better seasons in years past, including 97.5 passer rating that he's having this year. That's un-Tom Brady-like, but he still gets it done nonetheless. Another reason why the Jets will lose, their rushing offense is horrible. In fact, they give up 4.6 yards a carry, and when you have the likes of James White, Rex Burkhead, and the rookie Sony Michel, who the last time when he played the Jets at MetLife Stadium, had 2 rushing scores on the day. Look for Sony Michel to have 3, in fact. I'm going with the Patriots. Believe me, I'm not thrilled about that by any stretch as a fan. But being realistically, if the Jets lose this week, coupled with the Raiders and 49ers win, actually, with those 2 teams winning and the Jets losing, they could have the number 2 overall draft pick, possibly number 1. So it doesn't pay, for them to win. Be nice if they did, but in terms of the draft, it doesn't help them winning. Now, the second final in the neighborhood game, Giants, Cowboys, MetLife Stadium. The Cowboys have nothing to play for in this game. They're locked in as number 4 seed. They won the NFC East. If I'm the Cowboys, I would only, if you are insisting on playing Prescott and Elliott, play them for only a quarter. Do not run the risk of them possibly being injured and not having them next week when you have to play either the Seahawks, who you lost to earlier this year, or the Vikings, depending on the results of their games. Now, that's why I'm going with the Giants, because at some point the Cowboys will have their B squad in, Giants will take advantage, and Saquon Barkley will have 2 touchdowns in the day. I'm going with the Giants this week. It's the biggest game of the year, the final regular season game of 2018, Sunday Night Football. Colts, Titans, a lot on the line in this game. Winner goes to the playoffs, loser goes home. The last time they played, Andrew Luck, though, has a spell over the Titans. In 10 career games, he has not lost a single game against the Titans at all. Titans swept the Colts last year because Andrew Luck wasn't the starting quarterback last year. This time around, back earlier in the season, the Colts beat the Titans 38-10. Luck went 23-29 for nearly 300 yards and 3 touchdowns and wasn't picked one single time. This was a team that, by the way, started 1-5 And look what the Colts have done. Winning 8 out of their previous 9 games to put them in the position they're in to clinch a playoff spot. That's why. And with the uncertainty of Marcus Mariota starting at quarterback for the Titans, I'm going with the Indianapolis Colts to finish off the Titans, claim that number 6 spot. Congratulations to the Colts. Big game right here. Bears, Vikings. Vikings win and they're in. Bears win with a Rams loss to the Niners. The Bears could get the number 2 overall seed and at least a first round bye. NFC North rivalry, one of the biggest rivalries. Bears beat them the last time in Chicago. This time around, I'm thinking the Vikings right now with their momentum. And the Bears, honestly, I don't think they're going to put their starters in for that long, especially Jordan Howard and Tara Cohen, as well as the members of their defense. I think the Vikings will take advantage of that. Look for the Vikings to be victorious. Next game right here, Eagles, Redskins. The Eagles still have a chance of getting to the playoffs. They would need to win against the Redskins and hope the Vikings lose to the Bears. They're playing Josh Johnson in Washington. The only bright spot about the Redskins season is 33-year-old running back Adrian All-Day Peterson, who has had 1,037 yards on the ground. At his age, one of the best stories of 2018, came in replacing a promising young player out of LSU who tore his ACL. That's, so Adrian Peterson really one of the best bright spots of the Redskins season. Otherwise, it has been dreadful week after week. And this is why they're going to be missing the playoffs for sure. So the Redskins have something to play for to make sure that the Eagles go down with them. Hey, we can't go, you can't go either. But again, this is Josh Johnson we're talking here. Going up against Nick Foles, who in the last 2 weeks has led the Eagles to monumental victories, including last Sunday in their home finale against the Texans. Therefore, I have the Eagles going on the road and hurting that Redskins defense because there's no way they're going to be able to account for Zach Ertz, let alone Nelson Aguilar and the entire Eagles offense. Browns, Ravens. This is huge, this game right here. Basically, all the Ravens have to do, win, they win the division. Browns win. It will be the first winning season since 2007, I believe. Yeah. And this is, something. They beat the Ravens earlier this year, 12-9 in overtime. But Lamar Jackson wasn't the starting quarterback then. Things have changed for the Ravens since that game. Now, with Lamar Jackson going 6-2, 6-1 in his last 7 starts, he has solidified his spot as the starting quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens going forward. As for Joe Flacco, he'll be finding work elsewhere. I'm hearing that Miami may need a quarterback next season. Think about it. South Florida would be fun for you. I think it'll be good there. But getting back to this particular game right here, Baker Mayfield has been the bright spot. 24 touchdowns on the year. The team's gone 5-2 since Greg Williams has taken over. Freddie Hitchens has come up with good play calls that go towards Baker Mayfield's skill set. And utilizing Nick Chubb and making him the number 1 has worked out perfectly on running the ball. But they're going up against one of the stingiest defenses in the league, number 1 overall in total defense. In terms of points per game, they give up no more than 17 points. On top of that, they're third against the run and 4th against the pass. This is going to be tough for Baker. This is going to be a tough code to crack, or team to crack the code against. I don't see the Browns sweeping this series. I got the Ravens winning and solidifying their AFC North spot. But the Browns are not going to go down lying. That's for sure. They're definitely going to make this a fight. Speaking of fights right now, the Steelers are in the fight of their life. They're on the outside looking in. They need to beat the Bengals at home and hope that the Browns can muster a victory over the Ravens to get the AFC North title. Otherwise, that 4th and 4 punt fake, that fumble that Juju Smith-Schuster was the death knell on their season, potentially. And they're going up against a Bengal squad that has really nothing to play for. And when you have a team like that, those are the teams you always have to worry the most because they're the dangerous type of team. But yet they're going up against the 29th ranked rushing defense. Look for Jalen Samuels to have some fun against them. I got the Steelers winning but I don't think they'll be making the playoffs. But they're definitely going to make it interesting Week 17. Okay, Chargers, Broncos. What's on the line? Chargers, AFC West, with a victory and a Chiefs loss to the Raiders. The last time they played the Broncos beat them 23-22. Broncos, unfortunately, will be without Philip Lindsay for the last game of the year. He, unfortunately, on Monday night, had a wrist injury that's going to require surgery, and who knows how long his recovery time will be. That's going to be the big story going 2019. Will he be ready in time to play for the Broncos? Because he's had a great year. The undrafted rookie from Colorado had over 1,000 yards, first ever since 1967 to be a Pro Bowl selection. That is unbelievable in itself right there, and it's really sad that the guy went down with the injury. And you're going up against a fully charged Chargers team that is, no pun intended, looking to fire themselves up and get that division title. Look for Philip Rivers to have 4 touchdowns on the day over this Broncos squad. I got the Chargers winning. But the Raiders are going to be in Arrowhead taking on the Chiefs. All the Chiefs have to do, win, home field advantage, AFC side of the playoffs, go through Kansas City, which they will. Yes, the last time they played each other, the Chiefs did beat the Raiders 40-33, but let's not forget that was the 2 days after Kareem Hunt's indiscretions all came out publicly, and therefore he was let go from the team, and they barely came out with that victory. This time around, they already have their running back. In fact, they just gave a contract extension to this one guy. I think his name was Manuel for 2 years, $8 million. Good thing for him. He's had 100 yards in the last 2 games for the Chiefs rushing offense. And I think he's definitely going to be the guy that will fill in the hole that was left vacant by Kareem Hunt, who will probably never play again for some time until his legal issues are cleared away. And that I'm not going to get too much into Kareem because it would take too long. But anyway, in terms of this game particularly, it's Arrowhead Stadium, one of the toughest places to play in besides the Emerald City, that is CenturyLink in Seattle. And right now, Mahomes is on the cusp of 50 passing touchdowns on the season. He is going to make his mark to be the MVP of 2018, and he will. Look for him to have a 5-touchdown performance and ruin Oakland's day. Give me the Chiefs winning and ending the race for the AFC West right then and there. Because who knows, if they lose, they could potentially go down to number 5, and who wants to be that team to have to go on the road for the rest of the playoffs? Jaguars, Texans. This game is pretty simple. The matchup between DeAndre Hopkins, wide receiver for the second most receiving yards in the league, going up against Jalen Ramsey, cornerback for the Jaguars. That right there will tell you all you need to know about the matchup between the Jaguars and the Texans. Therefore, the Texans are definitely going to win the matchup because DeAndre is going to run roughshod over that guy who has the biggest mouth in the league. There are times he does come through with shutdown prowess. But the fact is, with A.J. Bowie out, whoever replaces him, look for Deshaun Watson to also take advantage of that. I definitely have the Texans winning. Saints, Panthers. Really nothing at stake in that game for either team, except maybe for the Panthers to end the bleeding of their 7-game losing skid, because the Saints did everything they had to. Home field advantage, NFC South, first round bye. They have all the bells and whistles. They have everything they need. So that's why Teddy Bridgewater was just announced today as the starter for Sunday's game for the Saints over the Panthers. And the Panthers are going with their third quarterback in as many games. This time, Will Allen, the undrafted rookie at the University of Houston. He came in briefly last week against the Falcons, 4-4 passing for 38 yards. Otherwise, this is going to be embarrassing because Teddy Bridgewater right now, he's going to be auditioning for some teams out there. There's, Denver, Jacksonville, Miami, Washington, just to name a few that could use quarterback of your prowess. Possibly Tampa Bay, depending on what they do with Jameis. But nonetheless, and you're going up against a Panthers team that will be seeing, it will be the last game in the career of Julius Peppers, who had a wonderful career in the NFL. Ryan Cleal, their center. Could be the last time Thomas Davis, the linebacker. So the Panthers are going to be starting the rebuilding process right after this game ends. Even with Bridgewater quarterbacking, the Saints are still going to win. Give me the Saints. Next game right here, Rams, 49ers. The beautiful part about this game is Aaron Donald. He had 3 sacks last week on the road. They're at home this week. All he has to do, 3 more sacks, he ties the overall NFL record that Michael Strahan still currently holds at 22.5 sacks for a single season. 4 to set the mark. I'm thinking he's not only going to set the mark and then some. 4.5 sacks on the day for Aaron Donald on Nick Mullins. That offensive line is so pitiful. It's going to be hard for him to escape the Rams' pass rushing prowess. And Jared Goff is probably going to play maybe a few series or two. The same thing with C.J. Anderson. Well, it's another game for C.J., but it'll be another probably 150-yard performance considering the team he's going up against. Give me the Rams over the 49ers. Seahawks, Cardinals, Emerald City. Seahawks win. They lock up the number 5 spot. Cardinals win does not help them whatsoever in terms of draft status. They lose. They will have the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft for 2019. That's a lot of negotiating power right there for this Cardinals team. It's the worst record we've seen the Cardinals since their earlier days, I believe, when they were the Chicago Cardinals. Josh Rosen has some of the intangibles. He's got a good future. Him and Christian Kirk are going to probably be a great tandem together. We're going to see the very last game, possibly, of Larry Fitzgerald in this performance. He's going to go out with a bang, that's for certain. He's not going to go down lying. But I think after this game, he's going to call it quits. After 15 glorious years of what he's done for this one team, he will definitely be a first ballot Hall of Famer. If he's not, that's a crying shame right there. As for the Seahawks themselves, Russell Wilson and company are just electrifying the rushing offense. Great physical defense. I give this to the Seahawks overall. Falcons, Buccaneers. Nothing is on the line for either team except whatever pride is left. In Tampa Bay, this could be the last game for Dirk Cutter as head coach for the Buccaneers, and for the Atlanta Falcons, this could be the last time that Steve Sarkisian is their offensive coordinator, because honestly, they need to get a better coordinator and develop a better playbook than what we saw earlier this year, too. But the defense as well has to be revamped, because the injuries on the defense did not help the Falcons. This was a team that went 1-4, went on a 3-game winning streak, lost 5 games, then won the last 2. It's been a seesaw of a season. So that's why they are 6-9 on the year right now, and yet they are guaranteed to finish second in the NFC South. That's horrible right there, if you ask me. That the second best team in the league has 6 wins when you have a team that has 13. That really says something right there. And they're going up against the 29th ranked passing defense. Matt Ryan is going to have a 5-touchdown performance on the day. Julio Jones is going to have fun with that depleted Buccaneers secondary. I can't even watch. I think we might actually see a 200-yard performance out of him. Give me the Falcons. Yikes. Lions, Packers. Again, nothing on the line for either teams. For the Lions next year, the question will be, is Matthew Stafford part of their future going forward as their quarterback? Considering he still has 4 more years of that $100 million contract extension he signed. As for the Packers, who will be the head coach? Because I don't think it will be Joe Philbin. He's just the interim right now. Who will be able to work best with Aaron Rodgers going forward, since they gave him a truckload of money in the offseason? So this is going to be the battle of the quarterbacks. Who will have the bigger performance? And which defense is the absolute worst when it comes to third down? And that right there has got to be the Lions. I think, the Packers definitely will take advantage in so many ways. And I think Devontae Adams is going to have yet another 2-touchdown performance on 9 receptions over that Lions secondary. Even with Darius Slay, they win. Packers. by default. And the worst game of the week, lastly but not least, Dolphins Bills. Bills assured of their 16th losing season in the last 19 years, and the Dolphins missing the postseason for the 15th time in the last 17. The question is going to be the offseason, really, because in this game, it's going to come down to the pass rush. I think, honestly, I'm going to go with the Dolphins winning this week. I think their pass rush is going to stifle the Bills' offense at home. Now, for the Dolphins, though, they have a lot of questions. Is Ryan Tannehill part of their long-term plan? The bigger one is Adam Gase and Tannenbaum a part of their long-term plans? That's what Stephen Ross has to answer. Along with the fact, what do you do about the cap hits with Tannehill's $26.6 million for next year, $12.9 million by Robert Quinn, who they acquired from the LA Rams, Kenny Stills' nearly $10 million hit, and the fact that you have two aging players in Frank Gore. Is he going to stay? Because he says he wants to play even more years. And Cameron Wake at 36, who is still a great pass rusher at his age and still can run with the best of them. But are they part of the long-term plan going forward for the Miami Dolphins? Or is there going to be a new change, especially at quarterback? I honestly, if I had to predict, Joe Flacco will be signed by the Dolphins next year. As for the Buffalo Bills, they have the defensive pieces in place. They need to get more receiver help for Josh Allen, and they need to get a legit running back and some help on the offensive line. Otherwise, this team could really be something huge in 2019. And that is all the games of Week 17, the last week of the regular season. Just to make some announcements in terms of plays coming up, currently in production still, you have Judgment Nuremberg for Staten Island Shakespeare will be March 29th to March 31st, April 5th to April 7th. When I get the exact details of when tickets will go on sale, I will definitely inform you on that. For Seaview Playwrights, middle of January, look for Tommy the Who musical. Sorry if I don't know the exact date yet, but it's on the campus. It's at Seaview Playwrights Theater on the campus of Seaview Hospital. When I get the exact details on that for next week, I'll definitely bring that to you as well. And they're going to be doing some other plays too. The Normal Heart auditions actually took place already. We'll find out what the cast is. By the way, the Who Tommy musical, directed by Tina Barone, and Craig Stobling is directing Normal Heart. And also in late April, early May, will be Henrik Ibsen's Ghost, directed by Joe Giraldi. I am the stage manager for it, and it's a great cast that's in it. So I'm happy and so proud to be working with them on that. And there's a potential Disney musical by Staten Island Academy of Performing Arts. Cannot say the exact name yet until we secure certain rights, but could be taking place middle of May at the church, St. Mary's Episcopal, 347 Davis Avenue. Details I'll get to as well when I find out. And Vagabond Theater Company, the newest theater company to join the list of theater companies on Staten Island, will be starting in 2019 by a very good friend, Dane Forgione, who is, of course, behind the show Young Sherlock Holmes, which will be making its way to two playwrights festivals in New York City, Strawberry, and I forgot the other one, which I will get to you next week as well. All right. And Little Victory Theater, Some Girls, I think there's going to be an audition for that. And Steel Magnolias is coming out in January too, with Samantha Hermanson, I believe is in that as well. And when I find out anything about Hemlock and In the Wings, I will definitely get to you on that as well. Well, thank you so much, as always, for joining me every single week talking about football and with some time talking about plays and musicals. For all the hardworking men and women at CTV, for Mr. Kenny Graham, who does what he does best behind the screen, thank you so much, Kenny. I want to wish you and your family the happiest and healthiest of New Year's. I'll see you next week for the wild card round edition of the Blitz Zone in 2019. Have a great night, Staten Island. Peace and love. Peace and love.